Robert A. Wall, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 331 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, here with Trevor. How's it going, Trevor?
Good. How are you?
We're back.
We're back, but it feels, or I guess, for our listeners, we've had stuff coming out for the last couple of weeks. But
you
not
and I
actually
haven't
talked.
Into a microphone.
Yeah. This part feels weird because, we go through this like every time we take a break, right? Where it's like, when we stop doing this for a couple of weeks, we come back and it always takes a minute to figure out how this works.
Well, it's my wife was like, she always asks me like, oh, how long are you going to go for today? And I was like, well, Trevor and I haven't talked in a couple weeks, so there's probably going to be at least like a half hour before the show that we just chat. Although we kept it short. We're both busy today, so we kept it short today.
Yeah.
But
and I think we have been talking on chat a bunch too. So I think that helped. Is that we weren't like, I guess for behind the scenes, it's not like we don't talk. In between stuff, but it's like some weeks we don't hardly chat at all on Messenger, and other weeks we are going back and forth all the time. So we kind of were able to, I guess, hammer out a lot of stuff ahead of time. So we didn't need to chat a bunch before this. Which is a little shocking for our show, Trevor, because we haven't always been the best in the past about planning ahead. But I think it's good though, because I know we've got a lot of stuff on the rundown today.
We do,
and priority one though is you need to talk about your trip. So this way we have lots of energy to get into all these things. So
I'm excited. It's funny because I apologize to the Discord crowd and to everybody else, and to you really too, because I kind of disappeared for a couple weeks, right? Like I was gone and then I came back, like when I was in Florida the whole time, I was like almost not on my phone at all, right? Like I just kind of disconnected. And then when I got home, I'd just been busy, we were trying to get Christmas set up. I was just telling you, we're trying to get Christmas set up this weekend because we were gone last weekend. And we were back last weekend.
Let me just stop you there for a second. It's okay for you to be disconnected from your phone, Tom, especially if you're on vacation. Yes, it is good to
it's not okay.
be disconnected, and you don't owe me or anybody else any explanation on it.
Well, I also know though, like we talked up this. I talked up my whole mini trip here for a while, and I'm sure people were, especially in the Discord, were interested of how things went, and I wasn't exactly sharing, which is, again, so I was talking to my wife about this too, Trevor. Mm-hmm. I am possibly the worst person to try to have like a podcast or anything with like media, right? Because I don't ever think to capture things in the moment, right? Like, I live in the moment. Like I was there and we're waiting online for Jungle Cruise, which I'll get into. And there's a guy with one of those, little things, and he's got two phones and he's recording himself in line in Jungle Cruise. And I'm like, I would never in a million years do that. I just wouldn't do it. Like,
that's
just not me.
Vibe, right? Like I get that. I tried to do that at certain points, but I know what you mean. Like it's hard because, like, especially I feel like it's a matter of, a lot of the people who do vlogging and that kind of stuff, most of the time they're there solo. Like it's very rare that you see somebody there with a family who's got all the cameras and everything. It's a lot easier to do solo because you can kind of focus on yourself and what you're doing and what you want to capture. But when you're there with your family, like like you, I used to try and do the camera thing. I used to like try and get my phone out and like record every moment. But then I realized after a while that it was like I'm spending more time looking at the screen than looking at what's going on around me.
Exactly.
And I just the same as you is like, when I go on trips, I feel bad sometimes too, that it's like, hey, I should be trying to, take photos and, send this to the, to the group and whatnot. And it's like, and I try, and, my wife and I both try and do that, but it's like, we also don't want to miss what we're doing with our family. So, I get it. It's, it's a hard thing to capture that kind of media, right? And especially again with your family, like it's not fair to the people that you're with if you're like absorbed in your phone or talking to your followers or live streaming or whatever. That seems like such a crazy thing to me. And I guess I should say, this is my view on it. I'm not saying anybody who does this, nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying to me that like if I'm with my family, it's a crazy idea to me that I'm like pulling out my phone and I'm engaging with an audience and other people when there's like people in my life that, are higher priority than this that I would be like ignoring. Cause that's
100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So like, I just like, I don't know. The whole reason I did this trip, and no offense to the listeners, I love all of you. I really do. I did it for my family. I wanted to spend this time with my family, and I'm not spending time with my family if I'm recording video or live streaming or, messaging people.
You're observing your family. You're not spending time with your family.
Exactly. Then you're not actually spending time together. So, and that's to me, listen, and again, I don't want to be critical like you, Trevor. I don't want to be critical of what other people, like if that's something you do, great for you. It's just not me. It's just not, it's not my style. And, part of me wishes sometimes it was me, right? Because we do this show and we do things on social media and we do things on YouTube and it sure would be a lot easier if I was, just all about making content all the time, but I'm just not it's just not my personality, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Anyway.
I think it's good for us to acknowledge that there is a balance to it, right?
There is.
It is very easy to forget, and I'll admit, when it comes to social media, I forget sometimes too that, you're watching it and you're just like expecting, well, when are they putting out the next content? When are they doing this? And it's like, somebody's putting a lot of energy into that and, respectfully so, acknowledge that. But if it's at the sacrifice of other things, then that's, I don't want people to like sacrifice themselves for the sake of my entertainment. And I think, we're the same way about it, right? Is, you want to find that balance. So, exactly. And also to that end too, this way, people are kind of left wondering a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. And now you get to talk through everything that happened. Yeah. I should preface this. I was super excited for you for this trip. Like I was like, I was waiting to hear how it goes. And I knew that this was when we're going to talk about it. But I wasn't bugging you like, so how did it go? I do also have a bit of side access to you. I should admit.
That's true.
Because our wives were talking back and forth. So I knew what was going on.
Well, it's funny because most of the time when my wife is talking to yours, she's not telling me that she's talking to yours, right?
Oh yeah. But I know, like I kind of know that it's happening, but I'm like, I like, there will be like a whole bunch of conversation. Then she'll be like, oh yeah, we talked about this. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, yeah. All right. You guys have been doing this for a while. Like,
yeah. Well, and there's also, I noticed my wife will text your wife when I am like, when she sends me off to get popcorn or something, right? Like she's like, you go get popcorn. And then they're sitting, in the green over there waiting for like a show to start. And I'm off getting, I'm in line waiting to get popcorn and pretzels. And then I come back and she's like, oh, I sent all this. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Great. I got popcorn. I just stood in a really long line for popcorn. So anyway, let's talk about the trip.
All right. Yeah. Let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that. Okay. So for those that don't know, I think if you've been listening to the show, you've been hearing me talk about it. We decided we were going to surprise my daughter with doing Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which we had never done before. This was a new thing. My wife and I had never even done it, just the two of us before. We had been waiting to do this until my daughter was older because, it's super expensive and we didn't want to waste our time there. So we did this trip, though, with my mom and with my sister and my brother-in-law. So there was 6 of us total, which was great. But we decided, and I think everybody knows here, I talked about this on an episode, unless you missed that episode, that I did something a little crazy and decided to book a grand villa at Bay Lake Tower for one night, specifically for the party, which, listen, we were showing pictures of the room to somebody, and they were like looking at us like, "Who are you people? You don't dress like you can afford that room. Like you don't look like you can afford that room." And I was just like, "No, we have DVC, and here's the situation." Like I'd explain it, because it's like.
People don't get that either. Like you say, I have DVC, and they're like, "Oh, so you're just like still bougie, but." Different kind of bougie.
It always has to come with a disclaimer of like, listen, we don't usually do this. It was a one-time thing. We would never do it again. You know what I mean? It's like I just have to make it clear that it's like this was a crazy thing for us to do, but we did it anyway. So my mom lives about an hour and a half away, hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, right, from Disney, and so we decided we were going to go down at noon, right? We were going to leave at noon. First of all, we were a little bit concerned about traffic, right? If you look at the top 5 places that people travel during Thanksgiving, Orlando is in the top 5. I don't know where it is in the top 5, but Orlando is crazy during Thanksgiving more than, most places. Mm-hmm. So I was a little concerned about traffic, and of course it was a party day, so you don't really know what you're going to get. But it only took us about an hour, 40 minutes. So the idea though of leaving at noon was that we were hoping that the room would be ready early and that we could go and just kind of, get our stuff, put our stuff down in the room, relax, for a few, and then go over to Magic Kingdom. Wasn't ready by the time we got there, like 2:00, which is fine. Again, it was early, check-in's not till 4. So I can't complain about it not being ready early, especially that large of a room. I'm sure it takes a lot of time for somebody to clean that. So I'm fully cognizant of that. So we got in though. We parked at Bay Lake. Oh, first of all, we didn't tell. We kind of kept it secret from my daughter. Although all of the older people in my family, and when I mean the older people, I mean my mom, I mean my stepdad, I mean my brother-in-law's parents, who also live in the same neighborhood. We were over at their house because they have a pool, and we were in their pool, and they were all having a very difficult time keeping this a secret, right? Like it kept slipping out. And I was just like, guys, come on. Like, because my daughter's at a point, you can't really talk around her anymore.
She's hearing more than you realize.
She hears it all, right? Like there was, I think everybody that has kids knows this. So when they're like 6, like you can talk around them and they're just oblivious to what you're talking about, right? She's at the point now, though, she is listening to every single word we say. And so it's like, we have to be careful about it. So finally, though, this was going to happen on Tuesday night. Thanksgiving's on Thursday. So we're going Tuesday night to the party. Monday night, I said, to my wife, I was like, let's tell her. Let's just let it out. Right. Like, let's just tell her what's going on here. And so we did. And she was really, really excited about it. She was thrilled about it. She didn't even really know what it was. She just was so excited that we were going to do it. So that was great. So like I said, we get down there around 2:00. Room's not ready. We go and sort out our Magic Band situation because I mean, mine were fine, but my sister has like 3 Disney profiles because my sister would describe herself as a DVC. I don't even know how you describe this. She uses everybody else's DVC.
She's a DVC couch surfer.
That's what it is. Yeah. And she's like, and she jokes with me now. She's like, because I think I talked about this in the show. She did a grand villa at Alani a couple months back with her in-laws who have DVC. They're the ones that actually turned me on to DVC. And so they did. And so now my sister's like, well, I only stay at Grand Villas now. I'm like, okay, whatever.
We had, the 3 of us had this conversation when we were playing mini golf. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like super bougie now. She can't do anything but Grand Villas at DVC. She's very DVC spoiled. So anyway, so we're like, okay, well, we got, a little bit of time to burn, right? So the original plan was that we were going to hop on the monorail, just kind of ride the loop for a little while. But I don't know if you were following the news, Trevor, but one of the monorails caught on fire the day before we were going there.
Silver did. That's right.
Yeah. And so when we got there, we didn't see any monorails running at all. Like nothing, right? We were driving in, we didn't see any monorails, and when we got to the Contemporary, we didn't see any monorails. It was running, it just was running on like a reduced capacity, right? So we just decided to forgo the monorail situation for the time being, right? We just went over to the Contempo Cafe over in Contemporary there, the little quick service right in the middle there, grabbed some food, which was actually really good. They had some good food, and then we decided to head over to Magic Kingdom at 3:15. I know you can't get into 4:00. However, one of the things I had read is that you kind of want to get there early because it starts to back up pretty quickly. So That's what we did. We walked over 3:15. We got there. Decent lines already, pretty decent. Not out of control though. We were probably like,
you were still early enough that the main rush wasn't coming yet for the party. Yeah.
Yeah. We were like 20 people maybe from the gate, right? Like, cause they put it into like lines. We were like maybe 20 people from the gate. Right. So, for number one, very organized and, usual Disney fashion, very organized. And, the process, I love staying at Bay Lake, Trevor, though, by the way, because you have your own individual security when you walk over. You don't have to go through the main security. There's just like a little side security. Love that.
It's the same vibe as the Grand Californian. Like I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I and that was part of the allure of doing Bay Lake is just that walk, the ability to walk back, which listen, the walk on the way there, pretty short. The walk on the way back feels like it's 20 miles, like that's how it goes. Right. But anyway, so got through that, got our wristbands, our the little ribbon thing that they give you, right, which was cool. By the way, it's a good thing I took notes, Trevor, because this was 2 weeks ago, and it's like my brain is completely gone. So 3:45 they start checking us in, right, and we were laughing because I was like, how much you want to bet? Like as soon as we get let in, I'm going to get the text that the room is ready, and sure enough, like 3:45, room ready, and I was like, just missed it, but it's fine. We wanted to get in at 4:00 anyway. So let's see, what did we do here? So one of the things we saw in the Contemporary was the gingerbread house too. So we took a picture in front of the frozen gingerbread house, and then we did a little bit of shopping in there too. But we really enjoyed after we got our wristbands. First of all, the way they kind of like cattle herd you in there. It's what I mean, because you're all squished together and like they're trying to like let people go
there's multiple people like trying to put on wristbands, and it's
controlled chaos. It's controlled chaos, and so we go through, and then they have that whole little entrance experience, right, where you walk through that little backstage area. They got a DJ there that's like, playing music and talking and making jokes. And, they give you the marshmallow with the peppermint marshmallow, Mickey. We got our ornaments. We got, snowing. There was a bunch of characters walking around. There were some gingerbread men, some I don't know, like snow angels, a whole bunch of different stuff going on. But it was a very cool way to walk in. It's a very neat way to start the party. But so that was cool. We liked that. I'm gonna say before I get into all this stuff, Trevor, that I think we kind of failed at the party.
Okay.
So I think we failed a little bit, and I'm gonna blame myself for this. And I'm not gonna say it's poor planning. I'm just gonna say it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just having 6 people and we just hadn't done it before, and we hadn't been to like Disney in a while, and we kind of got distracted by, rides and stuff and didn't do a lot of the party things. But we're going to get into that. But I feel like we failed a little.
I feel because we did the wait list where we talked about it.
I know, and I still failed.
And yeah, because I recall that was something that we talked about, was like, you can't just like go in and wander. You need to, prioritize and all that. But it sounds but I get it too. To be fair, I understand, because, I think the first time we did a party, it was the same thing. We were just so overwhelmed.
It's disorienting.
By there's so much going on top. Like there's the normal like park stuff going on, and then there's the party stuff going on, which is like, I get it. I get why you felt like you didn't handle it maybe as well as you could have, but you were still there is the thing. So
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. So, I mean, listen, the decorations and everything you do, it does disorient you, because there's so much going on. And it's like, even though I've been there, so many times and I know where to go and everything, it still was just kind of like, in a good way though, where I was kind of like almost like a kid, just kind of like looking up at everything.
Just like, excitement and wonder. And yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So we decided we're going to go to Country Bears first. Now, don't ask me why we ended up at Country Bears first. I'm not really sure why. I think I said to my daughter, what do you want to do first? And she randomly told me Country Bears. And they're like, okay, nobody else had done Country Bears, so let's go do Country Bears. Like, why not? I mean, I thought the new version of Country Bears was great. And no one else in my group had seen it outside of my wife, daughter, and I. So the other half of the group had not seen the new version. So like, let's go do Country Bears, right? We get to Country Bears. And we go inside and we're waiting. And we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And my daughter's chanting Country Bears because, she wants Country Bears. And it's never good when they do, they say, oh, the doors will be opening in 1 minute. And then the doors don't open. And a guy that looks like a manager is on a phone and walks out from behind the doors.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Country Bears was closed. There was a technical difficulty. So that was a bummer. While we were waiting for Country Bears, though, there was something I'd never seen before. And I'm sure it probably has happened before and happens regularly. I don't know. I've just never seen it before. But they were doing I don't even know how to describe it. They were doing like a dance party in front of Country Bears.
Oh, yeah. What is that called?
Yeah.
You've never seen that show.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
What is it called? Hold on. I will find it. Keep going, but I will find the name of it.
They had like Cowboy Chip and Dale there. They had, there was like 30 cast members involved in this. And we were like, how have we never seen this before? Like we're in Frontierland all the time when we're there. I've just never seen it. I don't know why.
It's the Frontierland Hoedown is what that was,
that's
right?
That's what it is.
And like all the cast members and everything were joining in.
Yeah,
and
they're all
that.
dancing and I mean the Country Bears showed up.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, and all the times you've never happened upon that.
I feel like I have, but not at the size that I saw it. I feel like I've seen it with like a couple people. There was like 30 cast members involved in this. It was huge.
Oh no, yeah. All right, yeah. That surprises me that you've never seen that. But hey, bonus that you got to.
I know
you got to see it. Yeah.
I don't know how it's possible I didn't see it, but because Country Bears was shut down, we were like, okay, well, what are we going to do now? We're in Frontierland, and everyone wanted to go on Pirates of the Caribbean except for my daughter because she doesn't like the drop in the dark thing. Mm-hmm. And so my whole group went to go to Pirates of the Caribbean. My daughter and I stayed behind, and we went on the magic carpets there. Of course, there was zero wait for Pirates. It was literally zero. It was like 5-minute wait, and there was a 5-minute wait for Aladdin magic carpets, right? So we did magic carpets, and then my daughter wanted a Dole Whip, and so we got her a Dole Whip.
Yeah, yeah, you get him a Dole Whip.
Yeah, we got a Dole Whip. Yeah. So then we were like, well, let's see. Jingle Cruise only has a 40-minute wait. Let's go do Jingle Cruise, right? And by the way, it's still before party time now. It's only like 5:00.
So it's not quite dark yet. So you're not doing like Jingle Cruise at night. Okay.
Well, and that's part of the reason we decided to do it at that moment, because my daughter does not like Jungle Cruise, right? She doesn't like the dark parts, right? And so we thought that, well, let's do it while it's still light out, and then she'll be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
So we get to Jingle Cruise, Trevor, and I think you're going to understand what I say when I say this, right? The line was backed up all the way out of the queue back to like where the little stand is. And I said to my wife, I said, that is not a 40-minute wait for Jungle Cruise. That's going to be an hour. Easy, right? Anytime I see the line backed up all the way out the back there and they have all the queue line open, that's going to take an hour, right? Yep. So we did it anyway. And sure enough, it took an hour, which I have to say, I love Jungle Cruise, and I really love the queue. I love all the details of it. I especially love Jingle Cruise because of the haphazard nature of the way that they do the decorations in the queue and on the ride, and how it's all just like thrown together on purpose. But I love it, right? However, there is no greater soul-crushing queue at Disney than the Jungle Cruise, because that thing goes back and forth forever. You know what I'm talking about? When you go in that one room,
it's the extended queue that's the problem. It's not
that's what I'm talking about.
The queue itself is fine, but when you get into the extended queue, you're in just giant empty rooms with switchbacks.
And it's just, it feels like it never ends, and it just goes so slow, and you're just like, ugh, be done with this already. We love Jungle Cruise and we love Jingle Cruise, but by the time we got to the boat, we were all just kind of like over it. We were just like, we just waited an hour in line for this, and our skipper was. Our skipper was trying hard.
Were they a learning skipper?
No, I don't know. Here's I think everybody knows this whenever they've done Jungle Cruise, right? That there's like, even if the skipper tries really hard, there are just certain people that click a lot better, that make you laugh a lot harder,
Yeah. You're right. There is a weird natural charisma thing about it where it's like, you can tell somebody that's forcing it versus somebody that's like in it.
Yeah.
Like, cause you can bring the same energy, but it's in how, you can tell how they deliver it. Right. It's a weird thing. Yeah.
100%. And like, it's almost like they rush through it. Right. Like where they just like talk really fast and they don't wait for punchlines, and it's just, I don't know. Nobody was laughing on the boat. I'll tell you that. Like it was kind of one of those just, and I don't know if maybe it's because everybody just waited an hour long line. I don't know. While we were online, they said they started making announcements and saying that the line was like 65, 70 minutes or something like that. And they were just letting people know so they wouldn't come on. And I was like, oh boy. Okay. So anyway, we did Jungle Cruise. At this point, it's like 6:30 maybe, right? So we've done a couple things, right? We did a few things,
and you're hitting that point where people are exiting the park and the actual Christmas party is going to be starting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. People are starting to head for the hills, right? And we after that though, we knew that there was going to be a show going on at the front of the castle, which was like the whatever the holiday. The little holiday stage show, which
the holiday
name is escaping
celebration, something. Yeah, but it's the stage show for the party. Yeah.
So we went to go check that out. We watched it for 10 minutes, and my daughter was like, "Can we go do something?" She just wasn't. The show was not clicking with her. It was not clicking, and I get it, and it's fine. But you could tell as the show was going on, people were heading for the hills. Like it was just, it was like after the fireworks type migration to the front of the park. You know what I mean? Like it was a crazy amount of people leaving, which is, what you expect because the park's closing. Right. So we went over to the Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion had no wait at all. So we walked right into the Haunted Mansion, which was, great. Right. And then we decided to go over to the Barnstormer, which, by the way, the Haunted Mansion was looking great. I have to say this, right? So like a lot of the effects on the inside were looking really good. We saw the Hatbox Ghost, which we hadn't seen the Hatbox Ghost yet because we didn't.
Oh, right. Yeah. You didn't ride it in May, did you?
No, I don't think we did for one reason or another. Okay, I don't remember why, but we didn't.
I was like, wait a minute, you're talking because I was like, yeah, I saw all that. But yeah, right. I guess you didn't get to see it back then. Okay.
But it was lit up so great at night. Yeah. Like the lighting at night was so much better than I've ever seen it before. I also saw one of the cast members was holding the invisible dog leash, which do you remember this from I had one of these when I was a kid. You used to be able to buy them where it's a dog leash, and they have like it make it, and it like floats in the air and it makes it seem like it's a ghost dog. Yeah. So there was a guy holding one. And I was like, no way! Like where'd that come from? Like that was like from my that's like 30-year-old thing. But anyway, so that was great, of course. And then we decided to go over to the Barnstormer. And because my daughter loves the Barnstormer. And at this point, the party is just starting, right? So it's about 7:00, just starting up. No wait for the Barnstormer, of course, right? But the party's just starting, and we're over there, and it just so happens that we're right by one of the snacky spots. So we decided to go get that snack, and that particular snack happened to be the gingerbread. No, wait, what was that one? Was that ginger? It was the ginger. No, it was the pretzel snowman. It was a pretzel snowman, and it was fruit punch.
Oh, okay.
Were the combination there. Not their best effort. Listen, the pretzels were probably good when they first were cooked. The problem was they put them in this little wax bag, and by the time you get it, it like steamed itself soggy.
They're sitting for a while.
Yeah,
they make so many of them. Yeah,
yeah. The fruit punch was fine, but the pretzel was just a little bit. It was a little meh. It was, it was fine.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, it was fine. Daughter rode the Barnstormer twice, right? So we were happy there. We decided we were going to walk towards Ariel, right? So we're going to walk behind Seven Dwarfs over there. And my daughter wanted to do Ariel, and of course, there's no wait for Ariel at all, right? It's a 0 minute wait. It took us longer to walk through the queue than what the wait time was.
You see, that's the great thing about parties is that like everything is walk on for a lot of rides are walk on. Yeah,
for the most part. The one thing we did notice, and I heard this advice many times, and this is true, you probably shouldn't do the party if you're just going for the short lines, because not everything is a short line. Most things are short lines, but Tron and Seven Dwarves still and Jingle Cruise still had really long lines. Yeah, all three of those really long. I mean, they were shorter than they usually are, but still they were really long. So after Ariel, we go and get our second snack of the night, which was a salted caramel pretzel cookie, chocolate chip pretzel cookie, with eggnog. I didn't do the eggnog because I'm not an eggnog fan, but I did do the cookie. The thing I noted about this, and I didn't necessarily know this, is that they just give you as many cookies as you want. Like, you just take as many as you want. Like I go up there, right? And I go, let me, can I get two? One for my daughter. And then I look behind me, and my daughters had gotten like three from the cast member behind me. So now we got like 5 cookies. And then as I'm walking out, one of the cast members goes to my daughter, "You're like, do you want 2 more?" And she's like, "Yeah." And it's just like, wait, what? It's like, we have like so many cookies now. We just like throwing cookies in our bag.
Keep them for later. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you save them for later. They kept well because they're sealed, and they were delicious. These particular ones were really good, so I can't complain about that, right? We did that. Then I think at this point we went over to see to Frontierland to see the parade. I think.
Oh.
I think this is, yeah.
Okay, so you found a spot in Frontierland to watch the parade from.
Well, listen, we were a little late to the party as far as the parade goes, right? So we had to find a spot.
Oh,
I will say, okay, so this was a little bit of.
Sorry, I shouldn't have I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I get where this is going. Yeah.
No, okay. So here's what happened. Okay, right. So we found a spot. The taped off areas, right? And so we're in the taped off area. It's fine, right? And they have a walk. We're right next to a walkway that they have open up, right? What we didn't realize, and I wasn't really thinking about, is the fact that once the parade started coming, they were going to close that walkway off, and then anybody could go to that to where the walkway was, right? So they weren't letting anybody stand in the walkway. The guy was like really aggressive about it, and then as soon as he closed the walkway, like 100 people flew up all of a sudden. Now my daughter's like behind everybody, even though we've been standing there for a while. I know, really frustrating, but I also understand. It's fine. It was okay. We ended up fine. She saw it. The parade is great, right? We've watched videos of the parade before, but seeing it in person was really cool. Parade's awesome.
It's different. And did you get the smells?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got all that. Yeah,
because that's part of it. I think is that like when you start getting like the gingerbread house smell and everything, like it's kind of it's hard. I know I'm describing it, but it's so much different in person, right?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So while we were watching the parade, my sister and my brother-in-law peeled off to go get some food at Pecos Bill. They were hungry. We really hadn't eaten anything, but we decided to go after that to wade through all the crowds and go to Small World, which literally, when I say it had no line, I mean there was not a single human being in line. When we got there was no one. So we did that, and as we were sitting there, it's like 8:30. Well, no, it's like almost 9:00 at this point, right? And my daughter's like, "I'm hungry." I'm like, "Okay, well, it's 9:00 at night, and we've been kind of snacking, but sure, let's get some food."
You're right by Village House.
We were right there, right? So, literally, as I'm on Small World, I'm doing a mobile order for Pinocchio Village House right there, and I got. So the only thing, Trevor, I got of all the stuff we talked about from the parties on Food Time was the those raviolis at Pinocchio Village House.
Okay,
so They were delicious. They were huge. It was a huge portion, and they were really, really good. They came out super hot. They were really well filled. They just were very tasty. I really enjoyed them. My daughter had like chicken fingers, right? So anyway, at that point, we're sitting in Pinocchio Village House, and we see that Peter Pan has a 20-minute wait, which is absurd. Peter Pan never has a 20-minute wait. Peter Pan doesn't have a 20-minute wait when you rope drop it. You know what I mean? It's right. So then we were like, okay, well, why don't we go do that? But then, we were kind of at that point, it was getting, it was getting closer to the fireworks time. We're getting closer to 10:00. It was like 9:30. Right. And it was like, well, we could probably do Peter Pan, but then are we going to get out in time to do the fireworks? And, we're trying to figure it out.
Because from there, it's like you got to get out and then try and get to the front of the castle before they close off the walkways. And yeah.
And at this point, it was not, like I said, it was like 9:30, and we're still like waiting to get our food, right? So like our food, our food hasn't even come yet, and then we got to eat it. and then we got to go on wait in Peter Pan, and then go to. So I was like, yeah, we're not going to make this happen, right? So we were like, okay, it's either Peter Pan or the fireworks, and then we ended up doing neither of them.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we ate our food. And it was like 9:45, and I said, all right, well, why don't we head to the front of the castle so we can go watch the fireworks? And my daughter was like, I don't really want to watch the fireworks. I want to go to Winnie the Pooh. And I was like, all right, let's go to Winnie the Pooh then. I was like, you made it all the way till 10 o'clock, and we're going on Winnie the Pooh instead of doing the fireworks. Okay.
Okay. I just want to say, if she had said Tomorrowland Speedway, I would have been like, yes. Winnie the Pooh, though, I get it.
My friend.
She wanted to do what she wanted to do, but at least Tomorrowland Speedway, you would have gotten the fireworks while you're on the ride. I'm
not even kidding, Trevor. We didn't even step foot in Tomorrowland this entire time. We did not even step foot in Tomorrowland at all.
Okay.
So yeah. So we go and do Winnie the Pooh. As we're getting off Winnie the Pooh, the fireworks are going off. Well, as we're getting on Winnie the Pooh, fireworks are going off. So, listen, it's fine. I'm there for my daughter, not for me, right?
Yep.
And would I've liked to see the fireworks? Absolutely. Did I see the fireworks? I did not. So it's okay. It's fine though. I'm cool. So after that, it's 10 o'clock at night, right? And this is the latest my daughter's ever stayed up in her entire life. She has never stayed up till 10 o'clock in her entire life. And so at this point, I'm kind of impressed. I'm like, all right, you made it pretty far here, kid. But she was like, I want to go back. And I was like, okay, we'll go back. Right. So note that, Trevor, we only did 2 of the cookie. We never got hot cocoa even. We got a pretzel and punch, and we got a salted caramel cookie, and that was it. So, and listen, it is what it is, right?
Okay. And so, back to your initial point of, did you fail at the holiday party?
Somewhat.
I don't think you did. Because the thing is that it was your first go round. You still got to experience some of the unique things of the party. You got to do the parade. You got to, do the treats and see all the decorations and everything. But you kept saying throughout this that, you did what your daughter wanted to do. Exactly. And at the end of the day, this is going to be something that your daughter's going to look back on and be like, yeah, we went to this awesome party, and her perspective on it is going to be that it was wonderful and magical. Exactly. She's not going to worry about the things that you missed out on.
I agree.
It's hard because we look at it from the lens of like, oh, we know all this stuff because we're talking about all the time.
I know.
So we know what we're missing out on. She's not going to look at it that way. So you didn't lose. That's true. What I would say. Yeah,
that's true. So there's more to this, obviously. So we were walking out as the fireworks were going off, right? So we're literally walking out as the fireworks going off. Now, I will say the nice thing about the party, there wasn't and there's, even though it's less people, there's still a lot of people there, right? It's still, I don't know how many tickets they sell, but it's still a lot, right? But we didn't have to deal with those hordes of people like we normally have to, right? And it wasn't so bad getting out of the park while the fireworks going off, and it was snowing and all that, and my daughter was enjoying that, right? So, like I said, walk back is rough when your feet hurt. We were just like, oh, let's get back to the room. All right, so we go back to the room, and we have not seen the room at this point, so keep that in mind. So all of the grand villas are on the top 2 floors of Bay Lake Tower. So we're on the 15th floor. I think it was the 15th. 15th or 14th, whatever. You can get in from either floor, right? Because there's a door on the top, and
there's two entrances. Yeah.
So we walk into the room, and I mean, you've seen pictures of her, Trevor. It's a pretty stunning room. It really is. I mean, it's 2 floors. There's a huge, great space in the middle. There's floor to ceiling windows. I had booked a lake view, right?
Yeah.
However, I was kind of hoping for this, but you never know what you're going to get. I booked a lake view. We were actually situated on the very end of the tower, so we actually got a lake view and a park view.
Oh,
which was awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could see pretty much all the way to the Christmas tree on Main Street. Anything that was further, I don't know, for lack of a better term,
closer to Adventureland. Yeah.
Anything that was left of that, we did not see. But we could see Tron. We could see everything between there and basically almost Tiana. And you could see all that. And then we also had an amazing view of the lake. So it was the best of both worlds. I actually was joking, like, I was like, how does DVC not charge more for this particular room? Because you're getting both views, you know, like you get both. Like, it's almost like you should charge more points for that for a combo view. But yeah, we got really lucky.
You need to cut this part, Tom.
I know. I'm not saying they should. Nobody from DVC, don't listen to me. I'm just saying.
Don't listen to what we just said, please.
But anyway, so yeah, the view was great. The room was incredible. So at this point, though, part of the reason I went back, my mom and I went back. You know, my mom was gonna stay in the same room with my daughter, but we didn't get our bag. You know, the bags are still with Bell Services, right? So. And my mom doesn't necessarily know my daughter's kind of, you know, nighttime routine or where everything is packed and everything. So I went back so I could get my daughter settled. And then I thought about going back to the park after that. By the time I got her settled, it was about 11 o'clock. She was still bouncing off the walls at 11 o'clock, by the way. I don't know. Like, I felt like we could have stayed. Yeah, maybe.
The cookies is what did it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But she was still bouncing off the walls. Like, I was like, kid, we could have stayed longer. We could have done more. And she's like, I wanted to come back. And it's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
So they settle down and it's like 11 o'clock. And I'm like, is it really worth it for me to walk all the way back to the park? My feet hurt. I'm tired. It's, you know, all that. And so I decided to just stay. Right. The rest of my crew, they went to Tron and they did front row of Tron.
Nice.
Which they loved. My sister hadn't done it before. She loved it. Especially front row. She loved the front row.
Oh yeah, I'm glad they did front row. You know, at least front row is the best on Tron. I love it.
Oh yeah. And then right after they were done with that, they waited a long time for Tron. They said they waited almost an hour for Tron. And after they were done with that, it was like 11:45, and there was a 0-minute wait for Space Mountain. So they were like, "Well, we're gonna go do Space Mountain." So they went and jumped on Space Mountain. And did that, and they finished the night out.
Got blinded, I bet.
Yeah, they loved it though. That was great.
It is awesome, but yeah, the lights in there are just insane. But I love it too.
I also have to mention this just because it was weird. It was one of my weirdest Disney moments ever. So Bell Services guy comes up, and with our bags, we had just a couple bags, and the only reason we left it with him because we didn't want to carry the car keys around and all that stuff. Like, we just wanted to stay with Bell Services since we didn't have a room yet. And the guy comes up, and I said to him, we had the wristbands on, and they make those wristbands so you can't undo them. You can only tighten them. You can't untighten them, right?
Yeah.
And which they tell you up front, right? And I realized when we get back to the room, I was like, I don't have any means to cut this off, right? There's no scissors in the room that I could find. I looked everywhere for scissors, no scissors. So the Bell Services guy comes up, and I was like, hey, do you happen to have scissors? And he's like, no. He's like, I got a pocket knife, though. I'm like, all right. Like, it's 11 o'clock at night. I want to get this off my wrist. And the dude just hands me his pocket knife. I'm like, what is happening here? And I used pocket knife to cut it off of my wrist and my daughter's wrist. And I was just like, what am I doing? This is this random guy's pocket knife. I don't know.
It's fine. Weird. They're a Disney cast member. I'm sure that pocket knife is perfectly safe.
Yeah, I mean, the pocket knife had seen some things. That's all I'm gonna say. It was an old pocket knife. Anyway, so we all go to sleep. Like I said, room's fantastic. Next morning, we don't have our reservation, and I really want to wrap this up because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, so we got to catch up. I don't want to take up too much of the time doing this.
Oh, come on. But we knew this was how this was going to go. It's fine.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I was hoping that I could keep it shorter, but it is what it is. Yeah, I know. You laugh at, like our wives do at us when we say we're going to do a short episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So next day we get up. We don't have our dining reservation isn't until 10:45 at 1900 Park Fair, right? And my daughter wakes up at 6 a.m. every day, right? So it's a pretty decent gap between those two times, right? So I get up and I go over to the Contempo Cafe, just buy a bunch of like pastries and stuff, just to hold everybody over until food, right? Which were great. Listen, Disney always has great pastries, and, got my daughter some cereal and, that kind of thing. Right. So about I don't know, I want to say 10:30, we hop on the monorail, we say goodbye to our incredible room, that we got to spend less than 24 hours in. It's like 12 hours at the most, which is fine. It was great. It's great for 12 hours. Took the monorail over because the monorails were doing all right at that point. And we get to 1900 Park Fair. First of all, that new birdcage themed bar thing that's because they're doing all the renovations in the Grand Floridian, and so that was opened, and I think they just put down new carpet too. It looks very nice. I mean, listen, it's Grand Floridian. It looks nice, right? The funny thing was, though, I'm not a Grand Flow expert, right? Like, so I have no idea where 1900 Park Fair is in Grand Floridian. It's a huge place. It's like, I don't know where this place is.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I kind of vaguely know where it is.
yeah, I don't know. I've never been there, so I've never really thought to know where it is. And I did the rare thing that I have ever done at Disney, and that's ask a cast member for directions. I almost never do that, but I did it anyway. Right? All right. So we got a 1900 Park Fair, and we waited for kind of a long time. Right? We're there right at 10:45. And it's getting to be like 11:15, and they still haven't called us yet. And I was like, this is kind of a long time. And so the host, the manager of the restaurant comes over, and, she gets my name and everything. She's like, listen, I'm really sorry. We're behind on, Six Tops right now. And she's like, I'm sorry for the wait. Like, we just got kind of backed up. And I was like, no problem. No problem at all. And she said, listen, we're going to, all your drinks are on the house for the first round of any drinks you guys want. Anything you want is on the house for the first round. And I was like,
that's very nice.
Oh, I was like, I didn't even complain. And you just start giving me free drinks. I was like, yeah.
You you shouldn't complain, but you get more if you don't complain.
But this is the thing. Yeah. This is, when you talk about Disney, the difference of Disney, right?
Yeah.
She proactively came to, especially Grand Floridian, she proactively came up to me and offered that. I did not in any way show that I was like mad or frustrated or impatient. We were just literally sitting there waiting, and she came up and offered that to me, and that was great. And listen, a lot of people in my family like to have a drinker here, every once in a while, right?
Had some morning mimosas.
Yeah. Right. So, and I mean, even my brother-in-law doesn't drink alcohol, but he'll have a mocktail. Like, he likes a good mocktail. Yeah. So, I mean, we probably had to have spent almost $100 on drinks, and they did not charge us for them, which was awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to complain.
And then you can get all the fancy drinks with your meal. That's exactly. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. I really dug 1900 Park Fair, and I'm really glad that we did it because I really liked it. I like the atmosphere in it. The food was really good. And I like a good breakfast buffet in general, but I feel like Disney's breakfast buffets usually have pretty good food. And I really liked it. There was, and I've had this at other breakfast buffets at Disney, but they had a cheesy hash brown casserole, Trevor, that I think I could have eaten the entire pan of it. I might have eaten an entire pan. I could not stop eating it. I was like obsessed with it. I was so obsessed with it to the point when I got home, Trevor, I emailed guest services to see if they'd give me the recipe for it, because you can actually ask. I don't think everybody knows this, but you can ask servers for recipes for certain things, and sometimes they will give them to you. It depends, but sometimes they will give them to you.
I don't think maybe I talked about this. This was like a couple of years ago when we went to Space 220. We actually, like, my wife said to the server, this meal was amazing, compliments to the chef, and, tell them thank you. The chef actually came out, and my wife actually got the recipe for the mashed potatoes from the chef.
Yeah, we ate at Le Cellier one time, and we were commenting on the soup, and they gave me a card with the recipe for the soup on it. So, and I don't know where it went, but I have it somewhere. But if you ask the waitress or waiters, sometimes they will give it to you. It just depends on the recipe, right? And I forgot to do that because our waitress was overwhelmed. She was working hard. Yeah. She did a great job, but she was very overwhelmed and having a very difficult time keeping up. And I don't blame her at all. It was very busy in there. It was packed. Listen, you're talking about the day before Thanksgiving. It's one of the busiest times at Disney. She was rightly, so I didn't ask her. But when I got back home, I emailed guest services to see if they'd send it to me. They said they would not. So, which is fine. Certain things they will, certain things they won't. It's totally fine. But I was obsessed with this. I ate so much of it. It was crazy. And, of course, there was, they had like breakfast pizza. They had like, sausage gravy and biscuits. They had scrambled eggs and bacon. And then, of course, they had the strawberry soup that they're known for at there, which I wanted to try really badly and then forgot. I just ate too much like casserole, and then just was like, someone was like, you want to get some strawberry soup? I'm like, no, I'm going to die. I ate so much casserole.
I'm sensing a theme to this trip.
What? Just failing at things? Yeah. All the time.
Getting overwhelmed and then forgetting why you were there.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true.
Which is fine. It happens.
Yeah. I have to say the characters coming to the table were, as usual, top notch. They were fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a better Mirabelle than the person that came to our table. She was spot on. And Tiana was fantastic too. I mean, they were all great. They really were. They were all. It was a little weird that Aladdin was there, and it was like then everybody else was like Cinderella, Mirabelle.
So it wasn't like Aladdin and Jasmine. It was just Aladdin.
Just Aladdin solo. Huh. Yeah,
cool.
Which it was fine. He was great. He was nice. They do this.
Jasmine was busy that day. She was touring Agrabah or something. I don't know.
Yeah, she's busy. She's on a magic carpet ride somewhere. But yeah, and then they did, because all of those things, they always have some sort of thing, whether it be like a dance or some other thing. They were doing, they give you these little wish cards where the kids are supposed to write down their wishes, and then they do like a whole little ceremony around it. It was fun. We unfortunately came in right as it was happening, so we didn't really get to do it. But it was fine. My daughter didn't want to participate in that anyway. She wanted food at that point. She was hungry. So she's over it. She wanted food.
That's cool, but I'm hungry.
That's cool. Give me food. Yeah. So listen, 1900 Park Fair was great. We would 100% do that again. The only problem we had, other than having to wait a little bit longer, this is really funny, actually. So it took forever to get the bill. And I don't know why. Like, I just was waiting for the check, and I'm just sitting there, and I told the rest of the family, because my daughter's getting antsy. I'm like, you guys go, I'll take care of the check, and I'll come out and meet you, right?
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes go by, and I don't see my waitress at all, right? And they're cleaning up, like they're starting to clean up for the next, for dinner time, basically. Because at this point the breakfast was done. They were cleaning up, like they were cleaning up all the tables. They're
to like lunch and
and I'm just sitting there by myself at this table, like looking around, like, do you guys want me to pay for this, or like, what's going on here? So the waitress finally brings me the check, right? And I realized I hadn't told her that we were DVC and needed DVC discounts. So she takes the check away, disappears for another 15 minutes. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Then she comes back, she gives me the check. Everything's good. Everything's right. Well, Trevor, we had 6 people in our group. And when you have 6 people, they automatically add gratuity to the check. Did I pay attention to that? No, I did not. And
so I added an extra tip on top.
I added the whole like what the whole tip would have been. So I realized my mistake, and now I have to get yet another check, Trevor.
Oh, no.
This time, I happened to see a manager cleaning up one of the tables, and I was like, hey, can you help me out with this? Like, I screwed this up. I need another one. I've been sitting here for like a half hour. Can you like help me out here? And so she went and got me another one. It was done, but I was just like, oh, this is just like a comedy of errors. Like, it just keeps happening. Like, and it's taking forever. The most interesting thing I saw, though, Trevor, is while everyone's cleaning up, Tiana comes out. Right. Everyone, there's still some tables, right? And there's, they're doing the rotation, and Tiana's just kind of standing there, and then she just starts cleaning up tables. She's over there pushing in chairs and cleaning plates off tables. And I'm like, what a cool thing for you to do. Like, that's not your job at all to do that, Tiana. And there's Tiana cleaning up tables.
But the funny thing is that absolutely tracks with Tiana's character.
Yes.
Like, it's still in character. Yeah.
It's 100% in character. And that's why I thought it was so cool. I was like, no, it's like Tiana's restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, listen, we had a great trip. It was a blast. It was really short. It was really fast. It was exhausting. And I think we probably could have done better. We didn't do any of the character meets. None of them. We got 2 snacks. We just did some rides and enjoyed some shows. But, we got to stay in a cool hotel. We got to have a really great breakfast. I think overall it was a great time.
You had an experience, and it wasn't what you thought the experience was going to be, but most of the time it never is. And I think, for anybody listening to this, there are some takeaways from it. Yeah. Tom. So I'm going to paraphrase this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but I think the things that I gathered from this is, planning a very short window trip for something like the party. Yeah. If you haven't done it before, it doesn't work in your favor, because you do need time to figure it out. You do need time to kind of like get your bearings and everything. And I feel like if you had other like days in the park, you probably wouldn't have been like focused so much on like getting like.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You would have been more focused on the party and not on like doing rides and doing doing other things. So
absolutely.
So there is that part of it. I feel so something to think about is, if you're doing these kinds of things, trying to do it in a very quick window. If you aren't experienced, doesn't work out the way you think it should. But also, the other side of it too is, I think the part where you won is that you didn't force anything. You didn't, you in the back of your mind, you're like, I wish we could have done this or we should have done that. And a lot of things that I see people make the mistake of is like, well, I dragged my kids here and they were like miserable because, I was like, we're going to watch the fireworks. Right. And but you didn't do that, right? Like
I was close to it though. I was like, I'm going to watch the fireworks. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's good.
But you caught yourself. That's the important part, is that you realize that, it's not always about getting, like, it sucks because, we're the ones, as the parents, we're paying for it, we're planning it, and you don't always get to do what you want. And it's not that you should be selfish and say like, I'm paying for this, we're going to do what I want. Like, you understand that there is compromises in these things, and even if you do all the planning, it doesn't matter sometimes that sometimes your family decides to go a different direction, and you got to roll with it. So that's the other takeaway I got from this as well, is that rolling with it makes for an overall better experience versus trying to win, right? Like,
trying to win.
Yeah. It's not about winning. It's about having a good time.
I agree. And I think we had a really good time. And it was great. The one parting thing though, Trevor, that I didn't talk about was the popcorn bucket, the Mickey popcorn bucket that we talked about on Food Time.
Yes.
So we had a hard time finding it at first. And once we got it, first of all, the thing lights up, right? We're walking around with that thing. And I swear to you, I think I got stopped maybe 10 times by people asking me where we got it from. Like, people were going crazy over it. And even when we were in the lobby of Bay Lake, a cast member came up and was like, "Where did you get that popcorn bucket?" And I was like, "From the park that you work next to." Like,
what?
But like, I was like, okay. And then the person he was talking to was like, "Wow, that's a really cool popcorn bucket." I was like, "Yeah, you get it at Magic Kingdom." Like,
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a very popular option. People were very into it. So that's my trip, Trevor. I think we have a couple other things to talk about. We really need to do our ad, and
let's do the ad, and then we'll get into our other news bits, because we are catching up on stuff because we have missed a couple of weeks. So some of these things may be, I guess, old news, but we'll still talk about them anyway. But for now, let's do our ad. So this week, our episode is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. DVC Rental Store is a World of DVC company that offers magical vacations at incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rate at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. When you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right.
Okay.
So
where do we want to start?
Let's start
with the DVC news.
Yeah, we need to start with this DVC news because it's not often that we have like real DVC news, and this is like real DVC news.
Yeah.
So so beginning and somebody, and this was they haven't actually announced this. This is somebody found this in the contracts that beginning in 2026, resale transfers of Disney Vacation Club contracts are going to be subject to a $500 fee. So they're going to start charging a $500 contract administration fee for all resale contracts.
Huh.
That's a pretty hefty fee. This is going to make resale a little bit less attractive, and I think that's probably the point of it. Especially small point contracts you're talking a $500 fee on a low point contract is a lot.
It's going to drive point values up across the board for resale, which in thinking about it, the thing is that resale has been very, the answer for a lot of people is, the benefits of buying direct do not outweigh the savings on resale. So, a lot of people will say just buy resale and accept that you're not going to, get the blue card members as, because it used to be a blue card that we used to get. So, ignore that, ignore the blue card benefits and just get the resale because you're going to save more on your room and all that anyway. So Disney obviously has been probably hearing this, and they probably looked at it and went, the solution's not to lower the prices of their direct, because why would they do that? The answer seems to be to drive up the prices of resale, which, they can do that with this fee because and so I guess the one thing that I'm not clear about on this, because like you said, it's in contracts, but I guess is this something on new contracts, or is this?
It's beginning it January 1st.
All resale contract closing. So they're not actually adding it to the contracts; they're adding it to the process. The closing. For moving. Yeah. So if you're moving a contract from one person to another, they now have an administration fee that they apply to everything, which, I guess maybe their justification for it is that, they have like the whole right of first refusal process and moving, the cost of moving the contract from one person to another. That does, there is time associated with, or, they have to pay somebody to do that.
Yeah. There are real costs associated with that for them, right? Like there's real costs, but that's not a reason to do it necessarily. Right. I mean,
I mean, I'm just spitballing at, potential reasons why, they could look at this and say, hey, it's justified, but also, this way it keeps the floor of, cheapest possible resale point values from going too low. Because I mean, the interesting thing is that, yes, we have to pay that $500 fee, if we're, and I guess this is the thing, is that I don't know if it would be the buyer or the seller that's paying that. I guess it would be the buyer.
I'm going to guess it's the buyer. Yeah. Cause the buyer pays the closing costs, right? So it's, I'm going to guess I'm assuming it's the buyer. I doubt it would be the seller. That would be kind of, but to your point though, there are real costs associated, real administrative costs that, Disney has to pay for, but listen, they've been absorbing that up until now. And just the cost of doing business. I do think that this is not necessarily, to your point though, Trevor, right? Like this is, you could make that justification, right? But I think you and I know, and I think pretty much everybody that knows DVC knows, they're doing this expressly to discourage resale contracts, right? I mean,
they're trying to stop people from doing resale, which
make it less attractive anyway, right?
Yeah, it's such a weird thing because, like, we bought our contracts so long ago at this point. You and I both, like, we've had our contracts for a long time. I know you like moved your contracts around.
I did buy and sell a new contract in January this past year. Yeah,
but I mean, even at that though, it's like it's such a weird thing I guess for most people, this like the extra $500 is not going to matter to you at the end of the day, because if you've used your contract for years and years on end, you're already recouping, like the cost or the value gotten out of it is there. Somebody having to pay the $500 up front, that doesn't feel great. But again, if they use that contract for an extended period, they'll, that $500 isn't going to matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like this may also be something where, and again, I don't know how much of this is a market of people is, there's people who rent points, but I'm wondering if there are people that are maybe buying and selling small contracts as a means of, like, I feel like there is a potential for like just playing the market that you could actually profit from buying and selling those contracts, right? Like, it's not even a matter of using them. It's a matter of, you buy a contract at a certain rate, you wait until, they release a new resort or they do something and, contract prices go up, and then you sell and you make back us, past administration fees and everything, you're profiting, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that there's a bunch of people doing it, but I wouldn't doubt that there are people that do this, because there's always somebody that that is, playing markets like that. And, this may be, it may be also a way for Disney to combat that as well. Cause like I said, for us, like, a $500 fee, like I'm not buying another resale contract anytime soon, but even if I did, it's like, okay, I'll just budget an extra $500 because you're already spending, thousands of dollars on it. Like I'm not saying it's a drop in the bucket, but it's not enough. It's not enough for me to say that it's going to break the bank on buying resale. But I can see where, if there was a bunch of like 50-point contracts and you were like, buying up 50-point contracts and slicing them up, this suddenly becomes very cost prohibitive to those smaller contracts, right?
Well, and maybe part of it is discouraging the buying and selling of those smaller contracts. I mean, it takes care of a lot of things, but that could be one thing that they're trying to prevent even more of. But I don't know. I thought this was interesting. I mean, why would they announce this necessarily? Like, they don't necessarily want to, hey, new fee announcement, like
they're not going to outwardly announce it, but it's one of these things that they kind of slid in and people were like, hey, what? Like that's
like, wait, what now? Yeah. They just added it to the FAQs on the website basically. And someone happened to catch it. And it's like, wow. But again, I also don't expect them to just tell me that, right? Because it's not really relevant to most members unless you're buying a new contract, right? Or and you're buying a resale contract. So I don't know. It's not great. I don't love it. I think it's, it is what it is. If they want to charge a fee for that, they're going to charge a fee for it. I still think that the value in resale is there. And I still think you're still doing, even with the $500 fee, if you're buying a larger contract, like you said, it's almost like it's a lot. It's a big fee. But at the same time, when you're spending as much money as you are on a larger contract, it's more, it's not as big of a deal as when you're buying like a 25-point contract.
Yeah, the long-term gains, or I say gains in that, the amount of value you get out of it after you've spent, a couple of years without having to pay for, hotel accommodations, like, $500 translates to maybe one night at the Polynesian. So like for me, it's like, okay, so that's one less night that I could spend at the Polynesian. Oh no. Anyway, moving on. Like,
it is what it is.
And again, I'm not downplaying that. Yes, it sucks. Anyone asking for more money always feels bad. I'm not like saying that hey, it's cool that Disney's doing this. I'm not trying to pretend that it definitely feels like a little bit of the people talk about Disney kind of nickel and diming stuff. This falls into that same kind of place where it's like, did you really need to charge that admin fee? Maybe. I don't think you did, but
see, I don't think this is for profit, though, right? To me, this is more about discouraging.
Yeah, it's more them trying to keep their product in a place where people are not manipulating it into negative or again, sorry, a lot of these things, and we talked about this. I don't remember if it was before we started the show or we talked about how like rules are sometimes put in place because of a few people doing it versus like it's not that these things
you punish
are there.
The majority with to stop a few.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of these scenarios where it's like, I'm sure there was a couple of people that were abusing this and abusing, buying and selling contracts in some way. And so Disney puts us there to stop them, but it hurts the vast majority of people just by the nature of it. But it's there mainly because somebody had an idea and they're trying to, to take advantage of something. Like it's always, it sucks because, the majority of us just want to, enjoy our contracts, enjoy Disney, but there's always some people that are like trying to find the angle. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. All right, let's talk about happier things, shall we?
That was the bad section of the show. So now we can go on to the good stuff.
And listen, I want to acknowledge up front, we are super late to the party on this because this came out right after we did our last show.
But we should still talk about it.
Yeah, we have to talk about this because it's I don't know if this like went viral or anything, but it should have because. I mean, I had my mom telling me about it, my wife telling me about it. We were getting messages about it. This Olaf robot that they've built, seemingly to free roam in the park, not free roam, but you know what I'm saying. is amazing.
Be somewhat interactive. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is incredibly, it's so hyper realistic to the show. Like it's funny when I look at this and then I look at like they used to do the character meets with Olaf.
Yeah.
And the character meets feel like that they're being done at like a local theme park. Like you look back and it's like, wow, that version of it felt very budget. This is like
insane.
Amazing. Yeah.
I mean, he's got the walk is perfect. He's got like the mannerism, like that you could take his nose off and put it back on again. Like,
and he reacts to it. Like the fact that it's like he kind of does that. Like they showed like, you know, the little reaction that he did. And it's like, oh my goodness, that's so cool.
And he's like straight up having conversations with people. And I mean, this is mind blowing to me. It's incredible. The thing that makes me mad about this is that we don't have this in the States. It's going to only be, once again, it's going to be Disneyland Paris, which listen, they've World of Frozen there. And they also have it at Hong Kong Disneyland. So, okay. It fits in World of Frozen and it fits in World of Frozen at Hong Kong Disneyland and at Disneyland Paris. I get it, but I want this. I want to, if my daughter met Olaf like this, she would lose her mind. Her brain would explode. My brain might explode, man. This is just watching the video of it and watching him walk around, and like they captured all the mannerisms perfectly. They capture all his little movements. I mean, it just looks like Olaf's really walking around. And we're going to talk about this in a couple minutes here with a different character greet that was just announced that is also very exciting. But what I like about this is that he's the right size. Okay. And so what I mean by that is so many times when you have, not so many times, at all times, when you have the meet and greets with characters, you know, Mickey's 5'4", you know, like in real life, Mickey would be the same height as my daughter. But in the park, he's that tall because he has to be. Olaf is the right size. He's as tall as my daughter. She could walk up to him and give him a warm hug, and he would be accurately sized. Like that's the kind of stuff. He's
proportionally sized to from the show. What you think he should be? Yeah,
100%. And that's a real. I know we've gotten used to characters being bigger than they're supposed to be, but if characters start being the right size like this, I mean, it would be hard to go now because you can't go back to you can't go from Mickey Mouse being the size Mickey Mouse is now to being, you know, actual Mickey Mouse size. Like that would just be weird. Like, you know what I mean? We're just used to it now.
You say that, but that isn't outside the realm of possibilities.
It's not, no.
Like it does. You're right. It does lend itself to, and honestly, this is getting into, sorry, the Simpsons reference. This is getting into like Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Scratchy Land, yeah.
Where you know everything is animatronic, and is that a good idea? But you know, I feel like if they curate this properly, like this Olaf thing is a great example of, you know, they did this right. They did, you know, it has the level of detail. It has everything that it needs to be, be received as, you know, the way it should be, you know, not as like, oh yeah, they did a character and it's, you know, it's kind of weird, but it's, you know, it's okay. It's like, you know, I'm not saying they have to do every character like this, but I really hope that, you know, maybe you'll see Olaf in Florida. You know, they are redoing the faces of the animatronics in Frozen Ever After. So you know, there is the potential for this will probably come to the North America parks, but it seems weird that it's like there's so much stuff that's happening in the overseas parks that some of it eventually gets to North America, but it's so slow, and it seems like they're just so like you'd think they would want to jump on this stuff quicker, right?
I do feel that they have a different problem at Disneyland and Disney World than elsewhere in that the free roaming characters are great, but if you had Olaf walking around Norway at Epcot, there would be 1,000 people that would crowd around him in a second. You know what I mean? Like, there are just so many more people at the American parks.
It has to be a controlled thing.
It does. because it just would be too difficult to do otherwise. By the way, his arms are also removable too. Even though they move. It says that in the article. They don't show it in the video. I just read that and I was like, so you can take his arms off and put them back on and they can still move? That's crazy.
That's that's such a weird phrase to say, but yeah.
But no, I mean, this thing is, if this is the direction they're heading, and they've started doing a lot more of this, right? They've got the BDX droids that did show up at Disney World and Disneyland. And then they had that Herbie robot from Fantastic Four was over in Marvel, and now we've got Olaf. They said that they were going to start accelerating this stuff, and it's happening, and that's great. But like I said, I'd like to see it in the American parks more, and I want to see some of these things in person, because this brings, Disney is trying to do these super immersive lands. If you just see Olaf walking around in World of Frozen, then that place is Arendelle. Right? I mean, it is, right? It's just cool. It's just so cool. I just love it.
Yeah, so. Like you said, it's just one of those, like, I hope that, this is the debut of it. Yeah. And it would be awesome if in the next like 3 to 6 months, if you heard like, oh, Olaf is coming to, there's going to be a meet and greet or something like that, right? Yeah. Like that would be
do a meet and greet.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But, I just hope Disney like, I know like they already have plans, but it's like, I don't know why they wouldn't have figured this into it, right? Like,
I mean, but listen, I understand why they're maybe starting here with it, right? Because they do sometimes will try things out in the other parks and then later bring them
they
to,
do. And to be fair, like, we look at it as, well, it should come to the North American parks because those are the ones that are most relevant to me, right?
Yeah, sure.
But the parks are international, and, it's not, I mean, it goes both ways, because there's lots of stuff that has come to, that we take for granted that has come to the North American parks that they'll never see in the international parks.
Like that the Grogu animatronic that the Mandalorian walks around with, right? Like we can't complain that there's that stuff, right? The BDX droids, like they have done some of this stuff. And I mean, I even remember, oh gosh, I don't even know how long ago this was. It was probably 8-9 years. Whenever that last Star Wars movie came out, they had a BB-8 meet and greet where you could meet, and BB-8 would like move around. I remember that pretty well. It was really good. It was really convincing. He wasn't like out walking around, but he was in the meet and greet.
Yeah, it was in a room controlled, but you could go up and.
How great would it be if they just did this in the Anna Elsa meet and greet in Norway, where they just had this Olaf robot in there, just kind of wandering around, making jokes with that. Like, he doesn't even need to take pictures, but he just like wandering around talking to people, and like just have it be like a really, organic kind of interaction thing. I just think that would be so cool. And listen, that might be what it is. It has to be a controlled environment at some point, because it's just someone's going to pick up Olaf and run away with him in Epcot. I'm sorry.
I was going to say it's not going to be somebody picks up an Olaf and runs away with him. It's going to be the fact that you said his arms are removable. Somebody's going to take an arm and throw it in their backpack and try and get out of the park with Olaf's arm and try and sell it on eBay. Which is
I mean, we've seen some of the videos of people behaving badly at Epcot. People are feral at Epcot, man. It's just
a little bit of drinking around the world, and somebody gets inspired to take Olaf's arm,
take Olaf back home to their kid. Yeah, I listen. It's. And I wish it wasn't like that, right? At least I wish we could have Olaf walking around, and then everybody could just, behave like adults and but it's not even just the adults too. Like, some kids would probably try to hug Olaf and end up tackling him and breaking him. I mean, these things are still probably fairly fragile in a lot of ways, where you can't just take them down or whatever. So, I fully expect, I do believe, Trevor, this is going to show up in the American parks at some point. I just think they're trying this out in the world of Frozens as a new way to, as a new thing. And then that maybe they'll figure it out because these things are coming. They just come a little more slowly, right? Because like you said, the animatronics are coming. And we can't really complain that. Like I said, we've had the Grogu one. Which was the Grogu one was really impressive. We really never talked about that one a lot, but the Grogu one that the Mandalorian just carries around Galaxy's Edge is a really impressive figure. You know?
The hard part about it was that because he was carrying it around, it kind of felt like a puppet, or it felt like like you couldn't appreciate it as a like the difference is that this is free roaming, right? Like, which
it is,
adds another level to it that, you know, a carryable animatronic is cool, but it still doesn't quite have the same level of impact. But
I get it.
But you mentioned about, you know, things coming to the parks. You know, maybe we should transition into that as our next topic, because you know we're busy lamenting about the fact that we don't get Olaf, but there's a lot of stuff coming in 2026 that, you know, it's not just characters. There's a lot. Like if you think about it. Yeah.
It's funny, when I read through it, I was like, wow, there really is a lot of stuff that they're doing. Like more than I thought about, you know?
Yeah. So let's kind of just, so I have the parks blog open here. Let's just kind of step through it. So the first thing is, you know, they've said that, you know, the Frozen Ever After facelift, and yes, I'm making that joke. I don't care.
You're doing a pun here? You're doing a pun?
Okay. Yeah, the facelift is happening on February 2026.
Which is actually that's pretty soon.
It's coming quick. Yeah.
I guess it's not that difficult for them to swap out animatronics. Are they swapping out all the animatronics, or just the face character ones? Like, are they also switching out the trolls? Or,
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know that the other animatronics were not performing well enough to justify switching them out. I think that the glaring oversight was the faces.
Yeah. It does specify Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff in this, so it seems like they're the only ones that are getting updates.
Which again needs to happen, and I'm looking forward to that, because the weird projection faces were a little too unsettling.
It was even more fun when they glitched. You know, you saw the videos of them glitching, and I don't know. It's kind of a whole other level of like just disturbing. Yeah. I'm just impressed by the speed at which they're doing this. Because they didn't announce. It wasn't that long ago they announced this, and it's already happening in February. And it kind of feels like one of those things that, because I don't even think they're closing it. Right? Mm-hmm. There's been. I don't think there's been.
They've just said they're
announced.
Just coming. There's no.
Just going to do it overnight.
Yeah, all they say is that these updated figures will be coming in February 2026. So the thing is that if it was a major thing to swap them out, I wouldn't be surprised if they announced like maybe a couple of days closure, or
like a week or something.
Yeah, or they might do it as like they may just say like, hey, you know, this is gonna be down for maintenance, and not really announce what it is. But then when it opens back up, they'll have the characters. So So I'm happy that they're not, you know, they're not taking it as we have to do a whole bunch of stuff to the ride. It sounds like they have a good plan to, you know, swap out the pieces that they need to without disrupting the ride too much.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So moving down the list. So Festival of the Arts, which is one of your favorite festivals.
About, yes. Just because I think arts, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. So January 16th to February 23rd, which again, very, very quick.
Yeah.
But we know that's coming. After hours events are coming back in 2026. So anybody that was wondering, that this kind of goes back to what you were saying about the holiday party, is that, you know, the holiday parties are there as the parties, but if you want a means of doing a bunch of rides, short lines, after hour parties are great for that, but they also do have their own things too. Like it's, I do recommend, I very much recommend the after hours parties. I enjoy them. They are expensive, but you know, from doing the holiday party, like it is worth it. Like it's a different vibe. So those are coming back. And then moving, so this is all like I guess winter,
the whole year.
So just going down the list, you know, so we kind of covered like this is stuff starting like
early 2026.
Now getting to spring 2026, we got Flower and Garden Festival returning March 4th to June 1st, which
I've been to multiple times and is a great festival.
I feel like that's not, is very that underrated. As long as it usually is? Like that feels kind of short, March to June.
I don't know.
I guess that's still a couple months, but
yeah.
I don't know. I always felt like it was longer than that.
It's longer than Festival of the Arts, that's for sure.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And then, Tom's favorite thing is also going to be happening. Yeah. So they don't say exactly when, but reopening in spring is Big Thunder Mountain.
Woohoo!
So yeah, that's going to be huge actually, because right now that whole side of the park is very closed off with them doing all the work in.
It's all construction walls.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a ton of construction walls.
And this actually begs an interesting question. This opens in spring. There's a section of that ride that goes out over the water, or currently, or it used to go out over the river, like it was right on the edge, right?
Yeah.
So you would have like a view of Rivers of America. Is there just going to be walls there, or like what's that going to look like?
That's a good question.
Right? Yeah.
There's going to all those blogs. If you can see over there, all blogs every day, there's going to be people on Big Thunder taking pictures.
People are going to be at the very top of like the lift hill holding up their camera trying to get video of the construction. Yeah. So
that's going to happen.
But so Big Thunder is going to open up, new effects. They're redoing like Rainbow Caverns. All that stuff is going to be updated. So I'm excited to see that as well. And Buzz Lightyear is also going to be opening in spring 2026 with all the updated fancy guns that
new ride vehicles.
Yeah, similar to the ones in Disneyland. I assume they're going to be a better version because the ones in Disneyland were getting kind of old too. So
it's a better version. This is this is not new. This is this is even, I think, different than the ones that they did in the foreign parks. With the like the phasers and everything. I'm just excited for that thing to not be like creaking anymore and all the paint to be chipped off and missing decals.
And you can't see the dot on, like, it's trying to figure out where your laser was like that was half the challenge, was like making sure that you were actually hitting the right thing, and because all you would just see is little random dots everywhere. Yeah. So
sometimes the little joystick was messed up, so the thing would just jerk back and forth every once in a while.
Yeah. I might be guilty of this, but when I ride this, like if I'm in control, I will sometimes just move it for the sake of messing with the other person.
I know. I mess with every time we're on this. I mess with my wife. I just just grab it, and like if she's shooting at something, I'll just grab it all of a sudden, and then she can't shoot it anymore. Yeah, it's great.
I don't think you don't have the joystick's not going to be a thing anymore, right? Because
no, I think it's still there. I think it is.
I thought I read something that it wasn't, because of the fact that you can actually pick up and move the guns now. You don't need to use the joystick. So I feel like the ride's going to more like it'll be like Haunted Mansion, where it'll just turn on its own, right?
But it's still called Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, right? So I don't know.
I mean, the cars are still spinning. I don't know. I guess they can't call it Space Ranger lightly turning. That doesn't work.
A Space Ranger occasional turns. No, I'm just trying to look here. I'm just looking at some of the vehicles. I don't feel like I see the stick. I think you might be right, but I swear that I looked at this before. It doesn't really mention it in the article, to be honest. So I'm not sure.
We'll have to see. But again, this is all new, exciting stuff, and we're only in spring of 2026, and then moving into summer is Cool Kids Summer is coming back, which is there was a lot of great events over the summer that were under the Cool Kids Summer banner. So if you got to experience some of the stuff last year. I honestly can't even remember everything that was in there. I know there was a lot of stuff around, like they were focusing on things from like Goofy Movie a lot. Yeah. Sounds like you're still going to get some of those kinds of experiences going on, as well as they're pushing the water park admissions is going to be something still in 2026, where your first arrival day you get free water park admissions. So that one I wish. My only thing about that is that we come into, or we usually don't arrive at our hotel until like 6 o'clock at night. I wish that they would change that it's like, if you're either like
they could do it like the next day or something like that,
like you could push it to the next day, but it's still fine. It's H2O Glow is coming back again, great stuff. This one's kind of cool. Banana Ball is heading to ESPN Wide World of Sports.
Specifically, they sell out everywhere, man. They sell out
May
everywhere.
29th and 30th. I assume you've watched Banana Ball.
I am very well aware of it. I don't think I've ever like watched it, but I know like some of the I've watched like clips of it. Yeah, I know what they
clips
do.
And everything are it's very fun to see some of the stuff that they do. Like it's baseball, but it's so much more entertainment. Like they're very much there doing entertainment, which is cool that they're getting to do that at Wide World of Sports. I assume if you're planning to be there at the end of May, it's going to be a busy time like at Wide World of Sports, which is, I feel like hasn't gotten a lot of love outside of like there is the usual like cheer competitions and stuff, but this is going to be extra busy, I feel.
Yeah.
And then summer of 2026, Bluey and Bingo are coming to Animal Kingdom. So you had this as a separate item, but I figured we could cover it as part of this.
So this took a really
let's talk
long,
about this.
Yeah, this took a really long time to happen, but it was inevitable, right? And we always knew this was going to happen. Now, this is amazing, right? Because we love Bluey in our house. My daughter still loves Bluey. I was saying this in the Discord. Bluey is one of those things that is not, it's a kid's show on the face of it, but there are so many adult jokes in that show, and it is so funny. Like, it's just really, it's not just like kid funny, it's funny, right? Like it's a great show just overall. And the fact that they're finally, good.
There are some episodes that are targeted at the adults, and because we have watched some of the episodes as well, and it's like, we see where the show is. It's more than just a kid show for sure. So
100%.
Character meets for this are going to be insane.
They are. I mean, because listen, you want to talk about this show? They haven't made a new episode now in a while, right? They're done. They're actually done. They're making a movie, but outside of that, that's it. We're done. Right now, that's not to say they're not going to pick it up. Somebody else is going to do it, but it's probably not going to be the same because the guy that created
the original creator said he's not doing anymore. But yeah. So we're done with episodes. But I saw an article just about this the other day. In 2025, again for the second year in a row, Bluey's going to end up being the most streamed TV show of any TV show in the world. Still, right? So you're still it's tremendously popular, and it feels like it's only getting more popular. Right? Like it's just getting bigger, even though it's done. Right? So they're going to have at Disneyland, at Disney World, and on Disney Cruise Line. So at Disneyland on March 22nd, so this is soon. I mean, there's a couple months here. They're going to have at a Fantasyland Theater at Disneyland Park, they're going to have Bluey's School, and it looks like a little show that they're going to be doing here. They're going to be doing the Grannies, which everybody loves. No, seriously, the Grannies is like the Grannies is it's a weird phenomenon, but
it is.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Do you know how many cars I see? No joke. On the way to Florida, we saw several different cars with bumper stickers of the Grannies on them. It's like a thing. It's a huge thing.
Yeah, I see T-shirts of it and stuff too. It's
And then they're going to do like a dance thing, and then and more, and then they're going to have the stage show where they're going to do like, it looks like it says a troupe of comedic actors and musicians to bring the best of the music and games. So it seems like this is going to be very interactive for kids.
This feels like it's going to be like the Frozen sing-along kind of vibe, where it's like they're doing stuff from the show, but they're also going to have performers on the stage, like doing extra, right? Like, which is always fun. Like it makes it more interactive, and they're going to be doing Keepy Uppy. I mean, like, this is almost going to be like it kind of reminds me of the Disney Junior like dance party thing that they were doing in Hollywood Studios before, but they're going to do it with Bluey Bingo, which is huge. But and then at Disney World, they're going to put them in Animal Kingdom, which I actually think I'm good with. I like that they're doing this, and they're going to put them at Conservation Station, which I think is very interesting, but it also, I feel like, is a good spot for them. Makes me what? So that means you got to get on the train to go.
You got to get on the. What's wrong with going on the train? I like going on the train. It's fun.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with getting on the train, but that's like that's extra steps to get there.
Well, listen, it's I think people are going to take the extra steps.
Real busy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be nuts. It says you're going to be able to play your favorite games from Bluey episodes, like Butterfly Keepy Uppy. They're going to do like an animal twist on these, and then it looks like it's a meet and greet as well. And then there also, it says step outside to discover an experience with animals native to Bluey's home country of Australia. So that means, I'm going to assume they're going to throw some kangaroos over a conservation station. Am I wrong about that? I mean, feels like that's what they're doing, right?
Hopefully they touch on that and not any of the venomous animals that come from.
Yes. Yeah. Let's hope so.
Because apparently there was an episode that actually there was some sort of interaction with a spider, and they pulled it because they realized that they didn't want to send the message to kids that like
to mess with spiders.
So yeah, exactly.
Because they have a lot of poisonous spiders in Australia. Yeah.
Yes.
And then also,
you're right. They do touch on like, now that I think about it, there's kangaroos, there's bats, there's
they could do a lot of things.
Wallabies.
I'm just guessing kangaroos because that's like the thing that everybody associates with Australia, but I don't know.
But you got to be careful with those too. They can mess you up.
Yeah, they can. But then they're also going to be on select domestic sailings, and they're going to be doing greetings, dance parties, and more. Again, this is going to be the character meet and greet in all of the parks and the cruise line. It's going to be nuts. I mean, seriously, it's going to be huge. I don't know if there's anybody else who could draw a crowd like these two are going to draw, and they're going to be doing this a family thing in the morning on the cruise line called Wakey Wakey, which is a lively morning celebration. It looks like they're doing a family game show that ends in a dance party on the ships. They're doing freeze dancing, interactive games, and then of course character experiences, scavenger hunts, crafts. They're doing a ton with them. And listen,
it's
I think
about
this is
time that they got in on this. We were saying this like earlier this year is like, Bluey feels like it's got that same energy as Frozen, where it's like so hyped up, and it's like, why is Disney not doing anything about this? Right?
Because they kind of announced that they were going to do stuff, and then like nothing really happened for a while, and it was like, how are you not capitalizing on this right now? It is the number one thing on Disney Plus for the past 2 years. It is getting more popular by the day. Like, get on.
I feel like it's hard though. Like to be fair, like this is a lot of stuff that they put out.
It is.
They have a certain like bare minimum level of quality. Like to be fair, I understand why they didn't just throw something together and like get it out there.
I agree,
because Disney is not in the habit of. Ironically, we talked about, nickel and diming, but they also don't want to make their product cheap either, right? Like, they don't want Bluey to come across as like, or they don't
cheesy.
Want it to, they don't want to feel like a budget.
Like it was
option.
Thrown together last minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what they did.
I
mean, listen, I remember when Frozen first came out, Disney clearly did not expect Frozen to be a hit, and it was. And because I remember that a couple months later, maybe 4 or 5 months later, we went to the parks and there was a lot of thrown together Frozen stuff, right? Like they had like this parade thing going on at Hollywood Studios. They had like this, they used to do that thing where they would make snow in that one theater where there's now the other track for Toy Story. Like, so they threw together a lot of stuff quickly, and it took them longer to do the attraction, which I understand. It takes a long time to develop this stuff. It does. But it just was like, man, I was just like, I knew that they were going to do this eventually. It's just too popular. I mean, that movie's probably going to make $1 billion when it's in theaters next year. I mean, it's going to be an insane global phenomenon, right? Like it is. So the fact that they're doing this now, will set them up for that, later down the road as well. So I told my daughter about this, and she was like, "So when are we going?" Like literally, that was her response. I was like, "I don't know yet, kid, but we're going to figure it out." But this kind of talks to, it's funny, Trevor, because this is kind of where my thought about the right size characters came from, right? Because I feel like my daughter in her head is going to be like, I'm meeting Bluey. Bluey should be the same height as me. But clearly Bluey's not going to be the same height.
Bluey's a kid, but these are going to be like large size characters. Yeah. So,
and I understand the reasoning, right? Logistically, it's a difficult thing to do. I'm just saying with these advanced robots, animatronics that they're doing now, we could come to a place someday where she could meet a Bluey that's the size of her, and is not just, a big, tall, person that doesn't make sense for as being Bluey. But listen, we'll take what we can get for now, and I'm happy with this. I think this is great. This is going to be insanely popular. and I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, Bluey was a big thing into the summer. Let's continue down the list because there is still, again, there's a lot of stuff coming next year. So
we're ending it after this. This is the last topic.
We're gonna stop with this. So Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live will be coming in the summer to Hollywood Studios with the opening of the Magic of Disney Animation. I guess, is that a courtyard, or I don't know. I guess that's what they're calling the area, but it's the old animation courtyard. So, we've talked about, they closed down that area. It's been under renovation for a while. That's all opening up in the summer in Hollywood Studios. There's going to be, it looks like character meet and greets.
But do you see what they're doing with this, Trevor? It's very cool. So
which part? I mean, there's like 5 different pictures I'm looking at here.
So what they're doing is they are doing the character meet and greets are each themed to one of the departments from the animation studio. So
okay.
So what they're doing is like their story, layout, hand-drawn animation, computer animation, lighting, and effects. And so each character is a different one of those. And so like they say here, each space offers incredible photo opportunities. You can meet Mulan in the story department, posing in front of an oversized storyboard panel, or step into the layout department where Rapunzel awaits in a setting inspired by the classic multi-plane camera. And that's the picture you get here. Is that layered multi-plane camera thing? I like this because this feels like a really accessible way to teach kids about how animation works. Or used to work,
and that was the original intent of that area. It was a working animation studio. So yeah, the fact that they're going back to that is fantastic. That it's not that. I mean, it is educational. It's not like over the top like Epcot super educational, but the fact that it's not like there is IP stuff in there, but like you said, it's also showing like, giving people an idea of, what goes into animation, all that. And may, this is how people get inspired to do this stuff as adults, is that
absolutely
if they're seeing this stuff, if they're seeing it from this kind of angle where, they're showing like classic techniques and stuff, I'm glad that they kind of figured out like that area was under such a like personality crisis for a long time.
That whole park, really, but that area,
the whole park is, but that area especially was like they just did not know what to do with it. I'm glad that they kind of figured out like putting it back to what it was, even though it's not like their main animation studio anymore. I don't even know if it ever was like their main animation studio, but the fact that it was like a working studio, but the fact that it's like, it's becoming almost like a display piece or a way to show off this stuff is great. So that's great. That's coming in the summer. The other thing that's coming to Hollywood Studios in the summer is Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. Will be opening up. So I know that they've already closed down the pre-show for the existing one, or I saw some pictures of the where you would normally go in and get your backstage passes. You probably never ridden the ride, so I don't think you know what I'm talking about.
I do because I've watched videos, but
so that's all closed down now, or it's like you can't. So there's no like pre-show video anymore, which obviously they're giving themselves time to do all of these updates to Rock and Roller Coaster. I won't be surprised if you start seeing different areas of the ride closing down more and more. Maybe they'll just shut the whole thing down for a little while, but that's coming in the summer.
So they're Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith is going to close at some point in spring in 2026, and then reopen as Rock and Roller Coaster with Muppets during summer. So they're going to do a couple months refurb, it looks like. But it's smart that they're doing it in stages like that, doing the pre-show like that, and I'm sure they'll spend those couple months doing the interior part of the ride that they can't do while it's still open, right? So
and still at Hollywood Studios.
Crazy.
Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is getting an update for the Mandalorian Grogu. So,
which is cool.
And they specified this is on May 22nd. So that it's weird that that's got a specific date, but everything else is kind of loose still. But so again, this is all stuff like we're still just in like the like, or, you know, up to summer of this next year.
Wait, when does the movie come out? When does the movie come out? Does that correlate with when the movie comes out?
Maybe. I don't remember the date on the movie. I mean, yeah, if you can find that.
It comes out on May 22nd. That's it. That's why.
So, all right.
That's
there
why.
you go. Okay.
Yep.
Problem or mystery solved. Then we also have Soarin' Across America coming next year, which again, like I forget how much stuff there is.
It's a lot.
Like so now we're over at Epcot. So Soarin' Across America. International Food and Wine Festival is coming back, you know, to no one's surprise. Not So Scary Halloween Party is coming, you know, that's all going to be a thing again. Jollywood Nights, Very Merry Christmas Party, which, you know, you just already did. So if you want to go back next year and try again, you can do so.
Yeah, we'll see.
And so sorry, I'm just moving down through the rest of these things.
The last one is this level 99 place that we talked about opening in 2026.
So so this must be like, or they're just saying opening in 2026. So it's interesting that they put this like kind of at the end of everything. So I feel like it's not going to be until later in the year,
late 2026. Yeah.
So level 99 is coming, which is not quite Disney Quest, but a reasonable. Sort of. A reasonable facsimile, I guess.
Okay. I like it.
We'll put it there. I don't want to say, okay. This can go one of two ways. Level 99 could be a very cool interactive experience, you know, kind of still playing to like the old Disney Quest, you know, gaming side of it. And, you know, it's a bunch of interactive games and stuff like that. Hopefully it's a fun thing in and of its own. If it turns out that it's not, I'm going to call it Temu Disney Quest.
Temu Disney Quest.
And I hope that it doesn't turn out to be Temu Disney Quest. So we'll see.
Let's hope not. The good thing about level 99 is it already exists in a couple other places. And it's successful there. Yeah. So all they got to do is port it over there. But I still miss the Void. I wish the Void would come back with the new technology we have with VR now. I mean, it could be so cool.
I wish that the Void was definitely next level because it had a lot of interactive stuff on top of the VR.
Yeah.
But I wish that there was somehow some way that some of the things from the Void could be released as like standalone VR experiences. I would be okay with that because, you know, I could do a home experience and, you know, you're not quite getting like, you know, the heat from when you get off the shuttle in the Star Wars experience, but it was like, yeah, I agree with you. You know, it would be nice for them to like restart the Void, but I'll accept level 99. I
mean, listen, the Void went, I'm pretty sure the Void went bankrupt during the pandemic and never made a comeback. No, they still exist. I just don't think they have any. I don't think they have any locations left.
They need to just get properly bought up by Disney, and then Disney can just do whatever they do with it.
I know Disney has a significant investment in them, but I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if the investment is just them going into like R&D stuff for like digital.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably part of their R&D budget, right? But yeah, I'm finding an article now from early 2024. It says the Void teases a 2024 comeback, but you know, nope.
Here we are, almost in 2026, and
nopers.
Awkward.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, they did go bankrupt though, and they were trying to raise money, but you know, what are you gonna do?
But hey, level 99 though, like I said, you know that's the last thing on this list, but you know, we listed off just a ton of stuff that's coming in the new year, which, you know, that makes me excited that, you know, I'm kind of glad that Disney posted this article because, you know, we've heard these things throughout the year, and I know a lot of these things are things that we've recapped that, you know, we have talked about in previous episodes, but when you really put it all together in this list, it's like, you know, we've said this before where it's like, it felt like, there was long periods where it was like, oh, you know, new lands are opening up, and you know, we still have like those things in the background, like you know, the new Cars Land stuff in Frontierland and Monsters Inc. But it's like you forget all these other things that are happening at the same time, and it's not just like, you know, they're not just like doing like festivals and stuff. It's like there's like entire rides getting refurbishments. There's entire, you know, new or new and redone things, which I think is it makes it so that it doesn't really matter what time of year you're going, there is going to be something to do, right?
Yeah,
like even if you've seen it all, like this has always been the great thing about Disney, is that even if you've seen it all, every time you go back, there is something new, or there's something that you may not have seen, right?
There's always something new.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm excited to see what some of these things actually pan out to when they release. Like, it's always interesting to see the reception around them, and certain things, and I will say this is, there are certain things that I don't like spoiling myself on, but there are other things that I will be okay with. So like Big Thunder, I don't want to watch a ride through of it. I'll talk about it, but I want to see the effects for myself. That's just my thing. But yeah, I think, we're kind of leaving things in a good place going out of 2025 from a park standpoint.
I agreed. Seeing it all listed like that it reminds you of how much, like, when people go like, "Oh, Disney's not doing anything new." It's like, no, they're doing a ton of things new. They do it so,
you're cherry picking what you want to see as new.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Like, just because, like, sorry, but I'm not going to be, going to a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse dance party or to see Bluey or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I know there will be people lining up to see Bluey. That's fine. Like I know, kids and adults, you do you. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
there's
not
going to be Bluey
thing.
hugs. Yeah. There's Bluey hugs going. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, guaranteed. But it's great that there is all these things as options, right? Like that's my thing, is that, I don't necessarily, like I'm not running to all of these things, but the fact that there is things for all kinds of people and all kinds of interest in here, the way I look at it is, for everything that I don't care about or that I don't care to go and see, there's a bunch of people going there, which frees them up from the stuff that I want to go and see.
Right.
That's
true.
Yeah.
True. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. This was, we knew this was going to be a long episode because it's been a minute, and that's fine.
There's a bunch more stuff on our rundown too that we're just not going to get to.
We knew that we were not going to, I think we did pretty good. I mean, we got through most of it. So
yeah, I mean, there was one I didn't even put on the rundown, Trevor, and that was, I don't know if you saw the Hercules show, the video of
Hydras
and everything.
Yeah,
dude,
I did see that. Yeah,
I mean, we've been watching little previews of that, but man, that looks cool. Mm-hmm. I really want to go see that. But anyway, let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about a lot on the show here today. So if you have any questions about stuff on the show, or you have comments, or, want to share your own experiences or whatever around it, you can always fire us an email at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. So, we love hearing from you guys and hearing what you think about Disney stuff and things that we talk about on the show. You can also find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, make sure you check out our group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we do talk about a lot of the stuff from the show. There's people sharing their own Disney stuff, trip reports, all that kind of stuff. Love seeing it. Love seeing it's Disney. We all have our own Disney adventures and perspectives on it. So we appreciate that. People come and share their stuff with us and in the group. I think it's a great way for everyone to kind of get their Disney fix and have a good time with, beyond listening to the show. If you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.co. You can check out some of our different merch there. I will say this, Tom and I have been talking about doing some new merch. Just, as you heard at the beginning of the show, we both been pretty busy. Tom's been busy with trips. We've been, kind of getting into holiday season. You won't see anything new in the store immediately, but we do have it on our to-do list to start bringing some new stuff. So, but at the moment though, we still have stuff available, and it's just, it all goes towards helping us just keep the show running. Similarly, we also have a Patreon for that, so you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support, which have exclusive exclusive merch that you can only get from the different Patreon levels that have a logo that is nowhere else except on Patreon. And all of our Patreon supporters get access to the Discord server, which, as we talked about, is yet another place that we post stuff about the show. Sometimes we do like early preview stuff. If there's something that we're working on, Patreon or Discord will get it before anybody else does, usually because they're supporting the show. And we have lots of great conversations about just Disney stuff and sometimes just other random stuff that people are doing as well, which is always fun to see. And last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere where you can leave us a 5-star review, please leave us that 5-star review, just for the sake of helping us continue to get the show out and let more people find it, because if you leave those reviews, it does show up more for other people that are looking for similar content. And since it's the Christmas season, it's like we need to get like a Christmas tree with like 5 little stars at the top. It's like our Christmas wish or whatever. It's it's our wish to have a 5-star Christmas tree this year. So leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. You can write us a review as well and let us know what you think about the show, because we love hearing what you guys think about the show as well. We love seeing those reviews. So write us a review if you got a couple of minutes while you're baking cookies, or you want to take a break from wrapping gifts or whatever. That's a good way to spend your time. And I think that's it for the wrap up for me this week. Yeah, that's
it for you. By the way, fun fact: the Void actually stood for the Vision of Infinite Dimensions. Was the acronym of the Void.
That was an acronym?
It was.
I did not realize that.
See, I had to give you that fun fact because I found it on Wikipedia.
Today I learned.
Don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app that's out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home and DVC and all that fun stuff. We're there. You can find us. Thank you so much to our sponsor, DVC Rental Store, for sponsoring this episode. Please check out. Oh, and of course, World DVC. They're just the best people ever. So go check them out for any of your DVC needs. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole